We are going.
Sweet. Hello and welcome everybody. 29th of July, another week of pairing. A question that I stumbled up on today, and I've even answered it for myself, but it's still a funny observation as I suppose. So I was reviewing this merge request by IP, and it is kind of trivial. They're still super beneficial because the only thing it does is check in our package JSON, being like, okay, there is a dependency in there that we are not using anymore. Let's get rid of this. Cleanup work, so far so good, fantastic stuff. What do we have over here? Another cleanup entry for a package JSON. Dependency not needed anymore. So far so good, perfect. And some things, they get more interesting when you have multiple of them, and similar merge requests kind of fall in that perspective, because I was like, wait a second, we are removing things from our package JSON. What does our package JSON represent? Well, we'll kind of be feeding webpack this thing, and then we'll create up our bundle. If we're removing something from this, what about our bundle size? And I feel like what's kind of interesting is, for this MR, we are getting at least the bot, or the tool which is generating this report, is getting a significant reduction on 4 entry points. On the other hand, we're not.
Sorry, Yannick, could you just double check? Could you double check that one? Because I think quite often, it may not be, but quite often it says that this is a complete guess and it's probably wrong. There's like a prefix. There you go. We don't have exact data, so we've used data from this one, so it might be complete nonsense. But I'm not sure how reliable that is. Or
fair point. Thanks for mentioning this. I haven't checked out that node once.
It could happen if your branch is, the more out of date it is, the more it could vary from the current state of master. So it's also good to do like a rebase and look at the numbers immediately after the rebase, because when, especially if the MR is not in draft mode, the merge pipeline will run against the latest master, and it could be that delta. So
we could compare against different bases here, kind of.
Especially with the merge pipelines for merge requests on.
Understood.
So to add another perspective on this too, removing a package from the package JSON that's not being used should actually not affect the bundle size at all, because Webpack only follows things that are actually imported and will follow it to where they live, and node modules does not read package JSON.
Fair point. I was kind of going in a similar direction. I was thinking about async imports, but you're absolutely right. That would probably be tree shaking, I suppose. Those unused modules, they should not ever see our production bundles, kind of.
Yeah, a good signal here with this comment too, that hey, something's off, is that it says new entry points. That's really weird. Like, we don't have any new entry points with.
Oh yeah.
So the way I would reveal this kind of MR is just looking for that keyword that's being removed everywhere. Because so like here at AWS SDK, like we may not be using that in the JavaScript code, but maybe we're actually including something in our style sheet from this package, or maybe we're actually static serve something from this. So there's all sorts of, or like maybe one of our dependencies is
dependent
using
on
this without actually having declared it. So we have linters and stuff for like direct usage of a package needs to live in package JSON in the code, but there's all sorts of indirect ways to use the package. And so whenever a package is being removed, I would just global search on the keyword like code mirror and see where do we reference it. If we don't really reference it anywhere, then it's probably good to go.
Very fine. Yep. Plus a green pipeline should help a lot as well. Awesome.
You put a lot of faith. You put a lot of faith in those pipelines.
I yet have to be convinced otherwise, but I do see where you're coming from.
I have more faith in red pipelines. Red pipelines mean something did right. Green pipelines, they don't mean anything.
Green pipelines might be something broken, but we don't know yet.
Yep.
On the first push, I agree. After a few, I'm not so stressed.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it seems like I maybe put too much trust in our bundle analysis tool as well. But thanks for the clarification. So to summarize, things seem odd, but that's for a good reason. And this is more of a very rough estimate than an actual tool. Because what you mentioned, Paul, that I'm 100% with you that if we remove an unused dependency, webpack shouldn't have any differences. But I would argue that might be the case, and we still see some weird kind of differences in the bundle size analysis. Sweet, cool. Yeah, that's just something I stumbled on today. So thanks for brainstorming with me. What else do we have?
Yeah, we can jump to the Is This Known channel. I can share my screen and we can jump there. And then one thought about it too. I said that a package could be a package we immediately depend on could be using something from there. But if that was the case and we got rid of that dependency, webpack build would fail. So like webpack just follows the import graph, even within node modules and all the way through. So that's a good thing. The other ways that we could implicitly use it is sometimes these packages have more than JavaScript. And so we could use the CSS, and we need to be aware of that. Or we could use other kind of static assets that we're referencing somewhere. So but that's a good question. Thanks for bringing it up. That's a really good question. I'll share my screen. Let me make sure I'm not.
Did you have another one, Yannick, or was it just that one?
Yeah, that's it for a moment.
Cool.
Okay. So we're gonna dive into Is This Known? That's the topic of the day. Let's do it. Share the screen. I'm gonna share the right screen. All right. Okay. Oh yes. And while we were talking about diving into Is This Known, I snuck my issue in here, which I was so excited to do. Oh, this is being addressed already. Yay! Oh, great. So my issue was, and so this is a good reason why I bring it up to the Is This Known, because I would have just created a whole issue for it, but hey, it's already being worked on. But my issue had to do with when you're attaching, it didn't attach inside the table cell. It added a new line to attach the file, which is a little frustrating.
Is that just because it's wrapping, or no? It's not, is it?
Has to be something changed when we moved the attach file hyperlink button thing, and we moved it to this button on the toolbar. Something must have changed there, and I create these image tables often, and that was really frustrating because it kind of makes it hard to build these images. Okay, let's see. Oh, look, creating an on-demand scan has an empty dropdown for the scan schedule. Oh man. Is that a dropdown, or is that supposed to be a time? That's interesting. I don't really know anything about on-demand scans.
I think you're right. It's probably meant to be a time box rather than a drop down, isn't it?
Yeah, so that doesn't look great.
They're a little painful to set up and reproduce, I'm afraid. That is probably not the easiest
You think so?
thing. That I definitely know for sure. Out of 10. Yeah.
Next.
Sounds like it actually sounds like you already have it set up.
Let me double check. I'm afraid I probably with my last GDK reset, it's probably gone.
Yeah, that's tough. This is about deleting. Okay, this is a process about deleting projects. I know that is gonna be that's gonna be a lot.
While we're scrolling through this, I might have another idea
Yes.
to tackle. But it involves the add who library once more.
That's
so
great. That's fine.
Everybody's free to leave now when they're just sick of it. No, but it is super. It's super similar to the key listener event that we've been dealing with. If you would, and I know this from the top of my head, if you would press call answer on an MR comment and press colon, it would open the emoji picker. The problem with that, it will now give you, you might be in a situation where you want to browse possible emojis, but it will give you a limitation from about 10-ish.
Oh, yes.
10-ish emojis, and that is quite annoying because you'll be like, what is this thing called? Smiley, slight smile? What are you referring to? You most likely, if you know, you'll be scrolling up all the page to then now check for the list and copy paste and go cry for a couple of minutes afterwards.
This happens to me a lot. In our team's retros, we have a high five section where we high fives to people, and the emoji is something like hand splayed, and I always forget the word splayed, and so I'm like typing spalding.
It can't be as bad as I use fingers crossed quite a lot. I think I've probably shared this with you before. Unfortunately, a lot of things default when you type finger to middle finger. So I have often stuck my middle finger up at people that is highly inappropriate. I wonder if we should consider removing that from certain platforms.
I know that feel. I've never sent it, but it was close.
That's a very different message. I hope so. I hope so.
That's an interesting meta conversation, though. I never use fingers crossed. I'm just like, I'm an optimist, even though Paul wouldn't call me one. I'm a pessimist. Paul said you should be optimist.
That's funny.
It's gonna work. Of course, it's gonna work.
That's so. You self-identify as a pessimist, Chad. All right. Just don't just put it on me. All right, let's get GDK running and we can figure that out. Yeah, so
you're the pessimists, for they have made backups.
Yeah, and they are optimistic about their backups. The optimism has to start somewhere. Like, it's not pessimism all the way down. That's a bad.
Yep. Paul, while you set it up, maybe can we look at a merge, like a random MR, and check if we can see the behavior and how we would wish for it to behave?
Yes. Let me pause sharing while I log in. I'm hoping pause sharing is doing its job. I'm really trusting.
Yeah, not seeing anything.
I'm really trusting Zoom here. It's broadcasting sharing. All right. We're back. Here is here's a random MR.
If you go down to the comment section.
Here?
Yep. Column. There we go. And it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
Oh, look, here's fingers crossed. Look at that. It must
Mhm.
it Lee, it must know that you regularly use the middle finger emoji.
I think it's probably not this platform. I think it's probably Discord or Slack.
I see. Yeah. Splayed is that's the one that gets me. So are you thinking we want to show more emojis?
I would say so, because like I would not necessarily, I would not even bother with the search results. Like if you would say column M, then maybe that is all right, but at least for the very first beginning, for the column, I would expect it to allow me to browse through all the emojis we're having.
I'd like the sound of that, because if we show the whole list like Paul just showed us when we click on the React button, is that using the same list or are they completely
No.
different?
No, it's
Okay.
different. And maybe that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Well, I'm saying maybe we should use this one. Like, we shouldn't try to continue using ad. This isn't using ad who. Like, so that makes sense. That's a harder problem. One of my biggest issues is if I'm here and I'm doing like yeah, look at that. Look at that. I hate that.
But that is actually, there's already an issue for that. Let me go find that out, because yeah, exactly. Because what you were about to, what did you do? You colon and space, or just colon?
And if you do it next to the word, it doesn't do it. But if it's anywhere that it's,
and you know what, that is not, and that is where the issue is coming from. That is not only 100% acceptable in YAML. That syntax is 100% acceptable in French as well. And our French users are not very happy with that behavior.
wait, French?
Mm-hmm.
In French YAML
programming language?
No. Never mind YAML, French language. Yeah. That the one that is spoken in France and many other countries.
Wow.
So don't ask me, but it seems like it is super. It's just before they do a comment, they do a
Let's
space.
fix it. Let's fix it. It's not good. So wait.
Let me go find the issue.
You're saying it's not even in a code block.
Yes.
What?
That's what I'm saying.
So sorry, what the French use? Is it a colon or a semicolon? I always get confused.
A colon.
A colon. They use it just in language sort of thing.
Exactly. I don't know if that's for every column they do, but every once in a while they will be doing a space before a column, which is absolutely appropriate.
So, and we want to stop the emoji picker coming up, do we? Or how do we want to handle it?
Yeah, we wanna stop it.
But how do we know that they don't want to do an emoji?
I feel like the suggestion has been, if the emoji picker pops up and you would hit space for once more, then it should close and just go away. Because currently it doesn't. You would have to escape out.
You're right.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. Let's fix that.
I found the issue. I'll be putting it into the Zoom chat.
Great find, Yannick. Great find. Really interesting one to tackle.
And yeah,
already sitting around for a year.
Here's a. I guess they would use it like we would use the hyphen. Maybe in English, they're saying like, this film is interesting. It's a classic. Like, and so they use the colon that way. But is
that every time they use it?
I guess they use it in other ways, but I see one example of it being used. And here's something too, like I guess someone said this.
Yeah. So there are definitely cases, and as we can see, it's like space, colon, space.
And yeah, for here it's replacing the comma. Yeah, that's a big deal. Let's do it. Let's fix it. All right, I'm sold.
Sweet.
All right. So the fix is when you do colon and then space, we
close it.
Close it.
Yep, it seems. Yeah, let's quickly, like, probably the issue already has a couple of those user experience goal. There we go.
Look at that face. Worried.
So the user experience goal is when the user type colon followed by a space, the autocomplete component must be closed. So we should be good with that.
All right, let's figure that out. Let me open up. Let me open up. I'm gonna use a tool to help me keep track of time. I'm gonna set a timer for 20 minutes. So there we go. I do
That's
that
a
when I
fancy
do
timer.
courses. It's really helpful. But since we only have 30-ish minutes left of our pairing, it's gonna help me not spend too much time on one thing. So we
Type
know
faster.
this is gonna be in at who land. We know that. That is in our, what is it called? Our autocomplete. What is it called? JavaScripts. Oh, let me just look for at who.
Yeah, let me just in the
This is it. Yeah.
in the chat, I just linked the R we've been working on with the escape handler, because that will probably have some of the paths that we might be touching as well.
Oh my gosh, who is adding functions to this file? We're not supposed to change it. I'm joking, Alec. I'm sorry.
5 years ago.
So wait, let me go back though. Do we do the same thing for users?
Seems like we don't.
Right?
That's
Why?
emoji only.
It's emoji only.
Oh, that is even more annoying for all of our French friends, because they will probably not have a space behind an ampersand. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's really weird. And I wonder if it's always done that. Let's see here. What do these things mean? What does skip markdown character test mean? Oh man. So that's one difference I see with the emoji thing is so here we have search key, display template value. I wonder if we're doing it thing for search, insert template, skip special characters. I wonder what's triggering it to hide when we're like do a member search.
Is this fixed for the hashtag, or do we have the same problem on this? Let me see.
Yeah. So
Fixed, okay.
only emojis.
Interesting.
Matcher. It's got to be in the matcher. Oh, I wonder if that's got to be it. Let me see. Callbacks matcher. Add is followed by. Oh, I've never seen that. Followed by.
You've reminded me of something that I tried to tackle a while back and gave up on, that maybe we'll look at in the future.
Yeah. Let's play around. I have a hypothesis it's in the matcher, and I'm gonna do something where I just return null all the time. And I'm gonna do that by saying if true, return null.
So what do we expect? Not the emoji menu to never open?
Shouldn't even open. Yeah. That's what I'm expecting.
That's the case when we're having a problem with regexes, and that is usually where I close the case. Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. It's not opening.
Oh, no.
Okay. Maybe we should create our failing test for this. What do you think?
Test driven, love it.
Yeah. our failing test. Let's figure out how to test how these things are tested. We have these specs. And you created some tests for this recently, right?
Let me double check if it wasn't exactly that file, but I really hope so. Let me put it like that. I did. What's the question? You need a path? No, you've got the path.
So these are just testing. These are such these are testing very specific functions. So you did the no events listener one. Okay. Yeah. All right.
888. Yep.
I happen to know that we have another set of tests that can make this that we could use for this.
How are we, like, just to get this right, are we looking into testing this via fake and keyboard inputs, or
we have front end integration specs where we like target page bundles, test things at integration. So not necessarily at the unit level, let's test of behavior.
But we're not in RSpec land, we are in Capybara land.
Still in JavaScript land, but
okay.
The backend in this environment, there's a README about this, but the backend is all mocked out with certain specific routes, including like fetching all the emojis. So because it's mocked out, we can actually just trigger.
But will it start a browser if it runs?
No, it's still in JSDOM land. But like, so here's a really cool test that we have is for these searches, these things pull up. And so I think we can actually just simply add for the colon space, nothing shows up, right?
Okay, let's go.
Let's try it out. Let me see if I can run this first. And so this is in just integration land. And it's probably going to yell at me because it wants me to dump the schema because it starts the backend. So it starts a fake backend using a really cool library called Mirage. And so we have a whole bunch of like endpoints that were mocked out here.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really
I've never seen these integration specs on the front end either. That's cool.
It's really helpful way to write tests. So like imagine a web ID that has so many components going on. And we originally wrote like 10 feature specs for this. And it became the longest RSpec in the suite. It took like 30 minutes to run the 10 specs.
Lee should take this with a grain of salt because I'm now starting to understand why Paul doesn't trust the pipelines we're having.
There you go.
Gotcha.
And so then we tried to push these down the pyramid. So we're testing the whole IDE bundle. And what I really love is just how readable these tests are. It's like, so we're going to update the file and like that's all contained in some logic of what that looks like. And we're testing the whole page bundle, but we're still in JSDOM land because we're still really interested in performance and stuff. So yeah, the front end testing environment is pretty nice. It's
awesome.
A little quirky, definitely a little quirky. But you know, nothing that us professional software engineers can't handle. Yep. Oh yeah, if you're running into strange front-end integration test errors, you should drop a note on the issue. And your comment is very important to us. And please stay on the line. Cool. All right. So yes. Space.
Okay. What are we like in line 46? What are we testing? The circuit ideograph accept? Wait, what?
So we're testing here what gets returned by autocomplete. It used to be really bad. Like we had our search would not match right stuff.
Okay, I see.
So this is we're trying to order what makes sense. The things that should be autocompleted with the emojis here. So this
Okay.
establishing
And this
that
is
integration test. So like, hey, when they type in red, this is what gets autocompleted.
understood. Okay.
Maybe credit card isn't the best thing. And so, yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. Sweet. And that's just for the circle. That is just the expected results for if you type in circle. Okay.
Yeah. For circle, I think you would really want red circle, like you'd want red circle to be up there, maybe. Yes. Look at it. Look at it. We got our failing test. Ah, yes. It's gonna be so easy. All right. I'm so stoked. All right.
Can I just pick your guys' brains 1 second? Sorry to interrupt you, Flo. Have you seen examples of jest specs complaining? Well, actually, it's ESLint, I think, that's complaining that you're using the same test title in multiple blocks when working with describe.eaches.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Yeah.
What's your cheat?
Well, you can disable it, I guess.
Okay, that's easy.
That would get frowned upon. The other thing,
have you considered adding a 2 at the end of the description?
that's probably the other idea. Yeah, the linter, whatever linter is there, is not sophisticated enough to realize that if you have the same describe in multiple contexts, it shouldn't be treated the same. So it's a little frustrating.
Perfect, thank you.
Sorry.
No, sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're good. So this is a look behind, right? I don't think that is what we want. And look, this is saying for anything that is not a colon, we just keep going. And that's not really what we want, right?
We want to keep going for everything except the space.
Yeah, let's see what, well, but maybe not even like special characters.
Maybe just A to Z, 0 to 9 even.
So like if I,
fair point.
Do I need to refresh this? I did. I got rid of my thing. All right. I don't know, like, do we want to? Oh, it is already skipping some characters. So I guess you're right. I guess, yeah, let's not do.
Can you look at the emoji spec and or do we know that it's what subset of characters for the actual names or what's being searched?
I am now realizing, I think related to that, we want to be able to do space inside, right?
Oh yeah, it's only the first character that you want to prevent from.
So let me add to our test. Red should return red circle. I want to make sure we don't lose that behavior. Yeah. What? What's the problem? Oh, did I already? Oh, I already broke this, I think. Did I already break it? I did. It's good thing I added that test. Let's try it again. Oh gosh, what is wrong with you? That's weird. It's not what I would expect. Square, this that is so weird. Let's do a different one with space. I think these circles. Oh yeah. Oh, that's actually what it's doing. Look at that. I don't know what that is. It looks like it's a different language. It's got to be like Fortran or something. Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Red CI. We're all familiar with Red CI.
Absolutely.
Large red circle. Thank you. Okay. All right. So now we have preserved, we can search on spacing. That's great. All right, I'm gonna add a comment. We can have space side search. Would not want the search to start the space. Do you have an issue to the? Do you have a link to the issue? Did you already link it in there?
Yeah, let me see if it is in the chat, but I hope it is. Yeah, it should be the very last issue I put in there.
There's a merge request that is someone already fixed this?
Good call. I haven't.
Well, I mean, you just linked to a merge request. Oh, was that your merge request?
Yeah. That was the one about the escape key listener. So no, but it has already, the issue has 5 thumbs up. So there is an audience.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. We got our failing tests. So now the big thing I think is here in regex land, we just do not want it to start with a space. Right? So I'm almost tempted to just say we yeah, I'm tempted to just say not any. Oh yeah.
How do we feel about pasting the thing in regex 101? Because I'm a regex noob, I'll admit.
I don't think you want that to be optional, though, do you? Isn't that what the question mark means? It's optional.
I know. Yes, because then that's
Fair enough. And is a space acceptable? Or do you need a /s or just /space or something? Maybe a space is okay in a regex. I don't know.
So here's how it is. I got it now. I on the other hand love regex. I really do. So this is all good after the fact. And we're saying we can have any of those. So we are going to have, but we need it to start with not a space.
Yeah.
And
that's just the first character. I don't think you need to put any question marks, stars, pluses, anything next to that. I think.
Yes, it has to be not a space or a colon. And then we can use spaces.
Yes, good point. And you need to use a pipe because you got 2 characters in that square bracket or not?
Nope, square bracket, the caret means not. And
but then are you not saying it's not space colon? Are you saying space or colon?
So the brackets is a character set. And then every character in there is going to be the set. But then the caret is saying not in this set. But this is why we write tests. Yannick is like, man, I hate regex. You're looking at it like, this is not good.
If it's not regex crossword, I'm not interested.
All right, this is. Do we want to try it out? It's probably worth trying out.
We want to, yeah.
We want to try it. So you're saying, do you have a regex website of your choosing?
Kinda, yeah. Let me put it in the Zoom chat. This is what saved me a couple of times.
Okay. Insert your regular. Oh, that's just a regular expression. So here's my test string. Boom, that matches. Are we doing this? I want it to see if it'll match the whole. Oh yeah, if I put $1 here. Yes, 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 yes. So that matches, yes. That does not match. Anything here is not going to match. But if I do anything here, this is starting to match. Yep.
Awesome.
Why did you stop matching? What's your problem? What happened? Did I do something? Is it one match? Still matching?
Space still matching.
Oh, it was processing. It was, and I wasn't giving it time. I was overloading it.
Patience.
What about another space now?
Yeah.
And
As
another.
soon as I add a space here, it's gonna not.
Gotcha. What about a colon at the end?
A colon at the end. Yeah, we're done.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, and this is doing some sort of searching for colon before, like. I think we're good. Let's test it now and here, and then we should be good. Oh, my alarm is going off. Oh no.
Just in time, it feels.
Yeah, we fixed it in time. That's great. So if I do large red circle, yeah, that's great that it doesn't show it up here. That's great. This is all working. So let's start writing some French. I thought this would have shown up now. Uh-oh.
Because you need another character because you've put the not space one in, I guess, haven't you? So I think you need to put a plus next to it to say that it's optional, or is it question mark?
Looking at this, it was matching if it was just here, because I said all of this group is optional.
Oh.
Let me run our test again. Double check that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is working with, well, our test is working and includes, man. Let me add a test for this case that we're running into. We just ran it. What did we get? We don't want it to be empty. So that's, what did I change here again? Exec subtext. Oh no, it's got to be this capturing group thing, I think. Maybe. Yes, I bet it is that. All right, let me do this. As compared to our last pairing, I'm gonna do my console log debugging instead of fancy JavaScript debugging. So here's the subtext that we're searching for, I guess. And then let me put in the match. Are you upset? Oh gosh. Ah, that's so interesting. Oh, how interesting. So, previously, this capturing group always existed. Does that make sense? Because I didn't have the question mark there. So it would match. And this capturing group would just be empty because it was a whatever star. So, and it didn't have anything, so it'd be empty.
Yeah.
And now I'm putting this question mark here, and so it's not existing. And so it's.
Can you move the question mark to be after the square brackets with the space and the colon? Would that help or not?
Move the question mark.
Move it to the exactly, yeah.
When I did that, regex can actually just like skip it, like
okay.
and
Yeah.
so I do want to do this, but I think the
Yeah.
situation that I want to do is I think I want to do oh gosh, oh no, I want to do this.
Gotcha.
That's a lot of operators on that's a lot of operators on one line. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, if it works, we can tweak it. If it doesn't, we burn it to the ground.
Exactly. Let's do this. I'm gonna the way to make that cleaner is to do an if. Return match. Since we have question mark, the group, it's possible. Oh, we don't like doing these else recurrence. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. That was it. This is it. I'm feeling it. So our test here is going to fail because yes. And 8 ball.
Do you know that Shift and Alt, Paul?
Shift and Alt. What do you mean?
You can do
cursor stuff.
Yeah.
I could have done that. That's a good idea.
Rocks.
All right, our tests are all passing. This is gonna work. I could feel it. This is definitely gonna work. Test. Yay! All right, now let's write some French. Okay.
Well, did you try like red circle and stuff with a space in as well, just to make sure we haven't broken? Nice.
Sweet.
Let's make sure our emoji and code feature is working. That's working. It's great. Here we go.
I love the fact you feel it necessary to put genuine French in there.
Can I have a realistic test case?
Yeah, I don't know how to type that character. Oh, it's the other way. Oh no.
I'm pretty sure that's not French either.
I think this is the right way.
Close enough.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. And so
I think you've nailed it.
That was the only one that had that. That was the only one that had that issue, right? Okay. Cool. And yeah, we got tests for it, hardening it. So I feel like we fixed it. Let's create the commit and call it a day.
Can anyone possibly be upset by the fact that we've changed this behavior?
No.
I don't think so.
It's impossible for someone to be upset about this.
It was like if you would start the search string with a space like that, it was pretty useless before, anyhow. So I don't like. What kind of emoji would you be searching for that starts with a space?
I don't see a valid case, but you know what it's like. You think it's a good idea at the time, and somebody.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, if so, that's another issue for next week then.
Cool. All right. Well, this is super fun. I'll create the commit. I'll create the MR, and I'll upload the recording.
Fantastic. In if anybody has more time to spare, I actually came up with a little syntax curl but like everybody's super free to leave. But if anybody still wants to hang out, then there'll probably be disclaimer speaking about Ruby. But syntax wise, you probably could help me out. Let me grab the screen because that just came to my mind.
Yeah,
it is.
I have time. Yeah, if Lee or Chad, if you all need to hop off, don't feel pressure.
I'll hang just for a few minutes to be teased with what you're looking at.
Okay.
Awesome. We are speaking about the rspecs tests that I showed you last week, if I remember correctly, and it is about let me put this up. Yeah, so that's how it currently works. There are plenty of tests running there. What we want to make sure is that we are looping through it with a false and a true flag value. So far so good. This is working. The current version is working perfectly fine. Cool. One downside that it has to it is that it reduces a ridiculously large diff, which is because you have to indent everything that's in there. So it's just massive. And a tip that I got from a reviewer. Let me see. So yeah, this is all of this nasty stuff because it basically doesn't have any changes, but it looks like it has. And a tip I've got from the backend maintainer is to use this with a shared context, because that will probably reduce the diff quite big time. I'm not too familiar with how the shared context work, but that is something we could figure out together. Like I kind of get it. What I don't. So going by this example, and I feel like I've already pasted something in there. Yeah, going by this example, and this is just a dummy for now. What I'm having trouble with is, where is this variable defined? Like, how would I approach
That
this?
should be up at the same level as the describe. It shouldn't be inside the loop. It's
okay.
Like RSpec directive that says this is sort of, yeah, like
and
on
you
line
don't. I don't think you have to. You can do it that way, but I think you can also use lets to pass the variable if you want as well. I don't know if there's one that's favored over the other.
Okay, so on which level would that go? Like just below the describe?
Okay, we're talking about two things there. I don't understand what you're saying about a let.
Oh, so I was just saying that I think you don't have to pass the variable, do you, for shared context
Okay,
versus
let's get
shared.
the shared context where it's supposed to go first, though. It needs to be at the same level as the describe.
Okay, so just starting at line 9, basically.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So then that would then allow me to get, oopsie, this is the original context. So I would be able to delete this and delete one of those ends and put this back one level, correct?
right.
Okay, but that's still like, I'm now for the context, I feel like I've doubled this now because we're having a shared context with valid username and password and a context.
Right. So what is that context testing? Like, did you add the with valid username and password?
One more time, didn't really compute to me.
Did you, line 21 was already there, or did you add it in this MR?
That was already there.
Okay, so the
Just for your understanding, the only thing I did is I wanna add the before do and stop the feature flag once with a true and once with a false value. That's what I'm trying to achieve.
right. So the shared context would be named something like with feature flag enabled.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to y'all?
Well, it would make sense for the first one, and on the second one, I want to disable it.
Okay, so you can make a separate context.
Okay, so we would have two then.
The normal behavior is all flags default to enabled. So I think you would just need one context with disabled. Is correct?
I definitely want to make sure these tests are run twice with both of the states.
Do you need these contexts to be used outside of this file? Is it just with this file?
I actually asked the backend maintainer about this, and we agreed that like it can be shared, but in this case we have different examples, so it would be would be used mostly for structuring code in separate files. So the way I read this, for now, I would have it for this file only, but we are having multiple files that are affected.
We did something really similar with the nav, Chad. Do you remember?
Yeah, but let's get it working in the single file first.
Okay.
But yes, I do remember what you're talking about. And I think it's so you think about the different axes of matrix that you have. So with two-factor authentication, and then with valid username and password, and it's got a lot of different things under that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So all of those are running different tests to test different things. So this feature flag could potentially affect any of these tests.
Yeah. Might sound weird, but that is the case. To give you a quick background on this, DSMR is introducing a redesign for the login page. And what we don't want to do is touch any of the functionality. It's basically just a visual layer. But if we would only deal with the feature flag toggled on, then our rspecs would only test for the new version and not for the old anymore. And since it will probably take us a while, therefore it would be best to test for both cases.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like what we did with the nav redesign. Paul, do you have that MR? Are you looking for it?
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I'll see.
Sweet.
So
yeah,
like ordinarily, like a feature flag, it's like isolated to one or two specs, but in these cases where it's like multiple files, you can do it in a less intrusive way, like exactly like this, without having to indent the whole thing. And what do? We like mixed it in or something?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Lee parted with this. Can I let me start by sharing all MR parts. Oh man, good thing we made all this traceability of stuff. No, I wasn't gonna share my screen. I'm just gonna share this link, and then you can open it up and we can
Gotcha. Here we go.
Nope, go to overview.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the spike MR that got broken up into a whole bunch of parts. If you scroll up to that link at the top, those lists of MRs at the top should be one of those.
Another one where we like explain the whole approach and why we did it and how.
Yeah, if you go to that combined menu flag feature specs. That's got to be it, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah. Well, for how we're using.
classic woolly man MR.
I've got
Wait,
lazy.
what?
What do you
So
say?
the if you click on that full context spike sorry, the combined menu one. It's the first one in the all MR parts.
Let me go back. So
I'm not looking at your screen anymore. I'm looking at mine.
gotcha. Combined menu, like okay, it's MR 60335.
You're on it. And then that workflow for how we are using pending examples. No, back on the
Back on the overview, workflow, confirm. Ah, yeah, sure.
this explains exactly a way to do this, which is a little bit different than the standard approach. But for something like this, where like you're changing everything and you want to feature flag around a bunch of different things in different files, this is a good approach.
Awesome. Okay, all existing specs which fail with the flag on are wrapped in a shared context and executed from tuning. Exactly, that's what I need. Okay, so we're on the same page. Let's see how this is implemented. Shared examples, combined menu feature flags examples before do stop feature true. Where would the false one be? Like, is that because it is false by default, the flag?
What do you mean the old one?
Because true is hard coded in here. I'm looking for so that would be the example for the stopped license features when the flag is true.
That's not our flag.
Ah, okay, I see.
Unrelated. Go back to the diff.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do a side by side diff?
Sure. No. Wait, what? This should be in here, shouldn't it?
How do you do that, Paul?
What do you say? I'm creating the
How do you
MR.
do the side by side editor?
Oh, it's at the top.
There we are. Okay. Thank you.
There you go.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to remember this. Let me know if you meet me, Paul.
Which flag are we speaking about? That'd be interesting.
Me.
What's the name of it?
The combined menu flag.
Okay.
Yeah, combined menu.
So if you go to
quickly.
the
Oh no.
so what we did, oh yeah, this is really interesting. Yeah. That was really interesting. So we wrapped, that's right. Oh, that's so interesting. If you go to the very bottom of this,
Wow.
so you see the line 32 through 42.
Yep.
Yes. So the intention with this workflow, and so you may not be in the same workflow.
Okay.
You may already have all the tests passing.
Mhm.
And so what we did is take our main, rather than the shared example being, or rather than the shared example flagging putting the flag on and off, the core code is the shared example. And then your context around it, or the core tests for the feature is the shared example. And the context around it are flag on or flag off. So that it behaves like combined menu feature flag examples. That's actually what's testing this operations link or something like. So that's, instead of calling that shared example combined menu feature flag examples, maybe we could have called it shared examples, operations like stuff or whatever.
Okay, but that's
Yeah.
what I need as well, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. The thing that you might need and you might not need. We merged this first before writing the code to make the test pass. And so what we had done is on line 53.
Oh, sorry. Oh no.
If you go back to the diff,
mhm.
There's a really cool RSpec feature called pending. And so it's kind of enables you to do somewhat of a like long-term test-driven development thing where we can write a test for something and say that it's basically flag it that it's pending. And we only do that if you notice on line 33, when the feature flag is on, we had no, this was originally written, we had no code for it in master yet. It just basically broke the top nav. And so that's when we would actually flag it as pending. So we have all of our tests ready to go, and we could try out what tests pass when we do this, when we iteratively build out the feature. But this enables us to do some test-driven development. You might not be at that stage because I know you've already been working on this. So you might be just needing to cover it with tests. So the pending stuff you might not need.
But that is, thanks for sharing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
For a future example, I was not aware that this is actually possible.
The thing that you might need is I think breaking off in here. I think we chose that core
32 through 50 is what the pattern you'll need. Like you have two contexts with the flag on and the flag off.
Yes.
It, but then the it behaves like that wraps all of your previous tests. So that would be the previously existing top level context you have. So like with two-factor authentication, so it's like turning around. You're not actually using a shared context. Well, like you're turning this into a shared context.
Yeah, I feel like I've understood at least half of it. So that's great.
So I would on line 33. So go ahead and get rid of, line 10, or you can keep those, that's fine. But like line 33, instead of a describe, it's a shared context now.
Oh, yes.
And no, is it shared context or shared examples? Are those the same thing?
They're not. Shared examples. That's probably what it should be.
Yeah, but those should just have examples in them, not context, I think. So.
But there's context.
I think shared context.
There are context for the examples. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't know. I would call that following the same pattern. Whatever tests were there previously, I would call that shared examples.
We can just
do this.
Then you don't need to. When you remove the feature flag, you just have to change it back to a context instead of a shared context.
Does the behavior
that does make sense
based on what you call it? It's the same thing. It's just calling it something, right?
Yeah, but like to minimize the changes when you remove, when you finally remove all of the feature flag plumbing, you would only have to change like remove the shared underscore.
Yeah.
Right. So then this line 15 and 25 would just be like with two-factor authentication.
Yeah. And we might need to move we might need to move the :JS to the very top.
I don't think so.
Does that work with shared stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
But
just adds the metadata to the context whenever you encounter it.
Gotcha. So this basically should do the exact same thing as it should have been doing before.
Yeah,
but
you want
it's
to go ahead
just-
and change 10 and 18 to be the name of your feature flag?
Yeah, definitely want to do that.
I mean, just change combined menu. Yeah, to yours. There you go.
Sweet. Should we
Now, if you
try
run this whole
and
file,
run
what
this
does it do?
one more time? Sorry.
I said, if you run this whole file, what does it do?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, it's like you're inverting the pattern that the maintainer told you to do. You're like, everything
It's-
here is a shared context. Ordinarily, if you're only like doing it a couple of places, you would make the thing you're doing in a couple of places a shared context. But here it's everything, so it's better to.
Gotcha. Understood. Yeah. And that's absolutely fine. Like the thing trying to achieve there is to make sure everything is covered with the smallest amount of diffs, and that is absolutely what's happening in there.
And also when you finally deprecate and completely delete the feature flag, you basically deleting those shared context and or those two contexts and the shared underscore done. You don't have to touch anything else.
Exactly. That would be it. Like that. That's the thing. That sweet. So let's just hope for this thing to pass, and we should be go. Would it be?
Personally, I'm not a fan of shared context because they're useful, but they mess up the stack trace. They make it hard to know what failed and where.
Okay. I see. Something's not quite right. It behaves like with two-factor authentication. Could not find shared examples. Maybe shared context is not quite what we're looking for.
Put it at the bottom. Just try moving those lines 10 through 26 to the bottom of the file. I don't think it should matter.
Gotcha. Oh, where would that go now?
Still at the same level.
So that's the first indentation level. So that would be here then. No?
Is it?
Feels like to me, because like I'd say so.
Yeah.
Like these are two tabs, and going down, this is the same. So we should be okay.
Yeah. Let's see if this works. Ruby itself is a two-pass parser. I'm not sure if RSpec is.
It feels like, oh no. Well, yeah, it feels like we're already further than on the first one. Telling from the output. Yep. Looking better.
Yeah, RSpec just parses the context as they go, and it's like, well, I don't know anything about that shared context. I've never seen it yet.
That is annoying.
Whereas regular Ruby is a two-pass interpreter, so you can put stuff in whatever order you want.
Gotcha.
Except when you get to mixins and Rails, then stuff gets kind of weird sometimes.
Okay, sweet. Speaking about this MR, if you, it's looking great. Is it acceptable to reproduce this behavior in every file, or would you expect to have this shared across many files?
I think we had that same discussion when Paul and I did this. In my opinion, the barrier for dryness is a lot lower in specs. So like this is going to get deleted, right? It's not like this code is going to be here forever. This feature flag code is going to get deleted. So just having it at the bottom of every file, I think is easier to understand. What do you think, Paul?
Does this have to be every file?
No, we're speaking about free-ish files.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duplicate it.
Because it's
Gotcha.
it's a very straightforward pattern. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's not a big deal. I would do it. If it was like every time we use sign in, we have to do this, is like, no, let's find a better way.
Or if it were like 50 lines of code as opposed to like, 2
Yeah.
dozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Point two.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting that some tests are failing on me now, but
Yeah. Now
that
you're,
might be something else.
That means it's working.
Most likely.
All right. Cool. Well,
No,
bringing
yeah,
this up.
that's absolutely okay. Sweet. Thanks so much for helping out. Looking forward to CDMR for you, fix, Paul.
Yeah. Are you on the backend pairing meeting at all, Yannick? Like if you do run into these spec problems, you should totally feel free to bring them up on the backend pairing, which is on Mondays.
Sweet. I'll make sure to check it out. I haven't I've been too shy yet.
Yeah. I kind of get the feeling Chad likes the backend pairing one more. I'm joking, Chad. I'm giving you a hard time.
I mean, they're both really early in the morning, so like is a strong word. Like, concept.
I know. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it. Bye.
Absolutely. See you soon. Have a